The skill of listening. This can make a huge difference, all right? When we're meeting new people, when we have a close, loving relationship with a partner or a spouse, when we're trying to cement family or friend relationships. And it's also very helpful when we want to help other people who are hurting from either the loss of a loved one or caregiving issues, or issues with health or adult children or their spouse, political divisiveness. It can be very, very helpful, but it's not an easy thing to learn, and it is a skill that can be learned. All right, I'm going to start off. My name is Pat Hayes. I guess everybody knows that by now. Right. Now, if we were, or if you were a scientist or an engineer, facts and figures are important. You need to know what are the facts, all right? And things can be right and things can be wrong, right? No matter how you slice it, 2 plus 2 will never equal 5, right? So you need the facts. And again, if you're an engineer or scientist, that's what you need. So you need to listen to the facts, right? Now, facts are very important if you're listening to people also, right? For instance, you can get some information. What state did you come from? What school did you attend? What kind of job did you have? When did you come to the village? How many children do you have? Facts and figures, all right? These are things we can learn about other people. And we only need our ears to hear those kind of facts. That's all we need is our ears, right? Now, to be in a relationship with a person, whether it be a spouse, a friend, a neighbor, an adult child, a family member, a new acquaintance. But if we're going to listen to other people, we need to listen to their feelings. All right. Now, when we're listening to feelings, we need an awful lot more than our ears. We need our eyes. We need our whole body. We need our feelings, our thoughts, our motivation. We need everything that's inside of us when we're listening to feelings. And before we go any further, I want to talk a little bit about feelings, right? Most people think everything is a feeling. It's not. First off, there is absolutely no morality to our feelings. They're not good. They're not bad. There's no morality at all. For instance, I could feel angry. I could feel furious. Nothing wrong with that. Perfectly fine. No morality at all. But if I act on that feeling and go and punch somebody, that can be morally right or wrong or good or bad. Also, feelings are always expressed in one word. If we need more than one word to say a feeling, it's not a feeling. It's probably a thought. The other thing that's very interesting about feelings is very often we could substitute the words I am for I feel, and it makes sense. Example, I feel surprised. I am surprised. I feel determined. I am determined. I feel confused. I am confused. It's really at the core of who we are, which is why we can substitute that word am. The other thing that we want to think about is if the word feel is followed by a that, it's not a feeling. That's an example. I feel that you're disappointed in me. That's not a feeling. That's a judgment. That's a judgment. What's the feelings underneath that judgment? Maybe I feel sorry that you're disappointed. Maybe I'm sad that you're disappointed. Maybe I'm confused that you're disappointed in me. Maybe I'm mad or upset that you're disappointed in me. Now, that could be right or wrong, because if I'm talking to you and you say, but I'm not disappointed in you, because you're disagreeing with the thought, not the feeling. Feelings you don't want to judge. Sorry, sad, confused. They're coming from the thoughts, but the thoughts can be, again, right or wrong, good or bad, not the feelings. Something like, I feel there's not enough time to do what has to be done, right? Again, that's a thought. It's a thought. It can be right or wrong, good or bad, doesn't matter. You can disagree with it. What is the feelings underneath that statement? I feel there's not enough time. Well, maybe I'm feeling pressure. Maybe I'm feeling overwhelmed. Maybe I'm feeling worried. Those feelings, no morality, not right or wrong. They just are. I feel frustrated when I can't get this thing to work. I feel concerned about the divisiveness in our country, right? Sometimes feelings are expressed and implied in thoughts and behaviors. For example, if I say, last week was my mother's birthday. I went to the cemetery and visited her grave. Now, I didn't say any feeling words in there. I never said I feel. but you know from what I said, there's feelings involved, right? That's what we're here to listen for, to the feelings part, because that's where we connect with people. That's the core of who we are. Right? I said on our blurb going out that we're going to share the do's and don'ts of good listening. Right? I'm going to start off with the don'ts, with the do nots. Right? With the do nots. If you're looking to learn or improve your skill of listening, there's a couple of things that you need to take out of your vocabulary. They don't belong in your vocabulary. One of the first things that you want to take out of your vocabulary if you're listening to somebody is the words good, bad, right, wrong. They don't belong. Once you say those words, you are sitting in judgment, probably of either facts or thoughts. But you want to listen to the feelings, right? So you take them out. What I suggest you do with that is in your mind's eye, see the words good and bad. And in your mind's eye, take a big red and put an X through it. And then erase it, right? You can do the same thing with right or wrong. They don't belong when we're listening. Okay. The other thing that you need to take out of your vocabulary, I know how you feel. If you say, I know how you feel to somebody, you are wrong. You are wrong because you don't know how anybody else feels, right? We only know how we feel. Another thing we want to take totally out of our vocabulary is don't feel that way. Don't feel that. Well, you shouldn't feel that way. Now, if people are taking notes, let me just interrupt for a minute. I have a handout at the end that you can all take from the computer and copy, and it has a synopsis of everything that I'm going to be saying. So you don't need to take notes. You can listen. How's that? Okay. So we want to take out, don't feel that way. And lots of times we think we're being kind when we say to people, don't feel that way. You know, maybe your grandchild is playing baseball and he's the last one up and the team is losing by 1 point and he's at the bat and he strikes out and he's feeling pretty lousy. He feels like a failure. He let down his whole team. What's the first one? Oh, honey, don't feel that way. You're really good. It wasn't your fault. We need to take that out. Don't feel that. Because no matter how you say it, that is a rejection. It's, I don't like you to feel that way, so you need to change. Right? That's not listening. Not listening at all. Okay. So those are all the don'ts. Those are all the don'ts. No, they're not those don'ts. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm at the wrong page of my talk. All right. I want to show you something here. I've shown this once before, but I'm going to do it quick. A long time ago when we were first married, all right, we had a picture hanging up in our nook, our kitchen nook. This is the back of the picture. Can everybody see that? It's like pressboard. And there's a picture on the other side of this, right? When you're listening to somebody, think about this, all right? This is your side of whatever they're talking about. There is another side. In this case, the front of the picture. You have absolutely no idea what's in here. There's only two ways that you're going to know what's on my side of the picture. And that's if I turn the picture around and show you, then you'd know. But unfortunately, if my side of the picture is inside of me, I can't pull it out of me and say, this is how I feel. We can't do that. So the only other way we can do it is by listening, asking questions, and try to figure out, help that person talk so they could tell us what's on their side. Now, the whole time we're listening to that, I could tell you, this is a picture of a table and it has some flowers and fruit on it. Now, so you know something about what's on this picture. You don't have a clue what else it is, right? And the minute you think you know, you stop listening. You stop listening. Right? So when we assume and you hear yourself or you think to yourself, oh, now I got it. I know what she's saying. You stop and listening. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to make assumptions. Nice thing about that is thinking to yourself, no matter how much time I spend listening to somebody else's side of the picture, My side never changes. So I don't have to give up anything of me to truly listen to another person, to truly listen to. I never have to give that up. Right? So when we assume we know, we cut off people sharing. There's another thing we need to worry about. These are still the don'ts now. Very often when we're listening to people, we offer solutions or we offer advice. That's another do not do when you're trying to listen. Never offer advice. Never offer solutions. Why? When we offer advice to somebody, we're assuming and communicating to that other person that we know best what's good for you. That's never true. That's a lie. We don't intentionally lie, but when we're giving advice to somebody, we're saying, you can't come up, you're too stupid, you can't come up with that. I'm going to give it to you because I know what's best. Right? Now, when we're communicating lies to people, they don't trust us. So that's not going to help us to listen to them at all. Right? The other thing when we give advice like that, we're communicating something else. We're saying, you're so stupid, you can't come up with your own solutions. We don't say those things. But when we're giving advice, when we're giving people solutions, that's the communication that we're getting across. We don't have any trust in you to come up with your own solutions. So I got to tell you because I know best. And that's the opposite of what we want to have in a relationship. Right? The other thing is maybe we're tired of listening, or maybe we can't tolerate it anymore. So we want to be listened to. So if I want to be listened to, I'm going to start giving advice or solutions and start talking about me. All right. I stop listening when that happens. So that's another don't. No advice, no solutions, stop talking. Right. Another thing that's really hard when we're listening to people, especially people we care about, people we love, like our adult children, our partners, our spouses, our good neighbors that we have, other family members, is when they're hurting, when they're feeling upset, we hurt with them. It hurts us. It hurts us. And we feel helpless because the last thing we want to do is see them hurt. It's hard for us to do that. So we never want to feel helpless. And what do we do when we feel helpless? We try to fix. We try to fix it. If I fix something, then you're not going to feel that way. You're not going to feel that way. And once again, this is always done with wonderful good intent, always based on caring for the other person. Think about what's that saying. It's saying, I'm going to fix. My fix is basically change who you are. You're not who I want you to be, right? When I do that, when I give advice, when I do try to fix something that people are sharing, right? I'm helping me. It benefits me. I don't feel helpless anymore. What does it say to them? Reject. Change who you are. I don't like you the way you are. Change. So again, don't ever try to fix. Don't ever give solutions. Don't ever give advice. All right, so those are the don'ts. What are the do's? Skills of listening. First thing, there are three things that we need to listen for when we're listening to people. First thing we're listening for is what is said. What did they say? Now that's usually the facts of the matter, the content, right? Now, the content of what people are saying to us is the smallest part of the communication. They say it's 10% of any communication is the content of what people say. How it's said is a lot more important. And that's the context, right? How it's said is their posture, their facial expression, their choice of words, their voice tone, their tempo, their gestures that they're making. Right? So content is what is said, how it's said is all those nonverbals, right? And we need our eyes to see that. So if we're just looking and counting on our ears, to listen to somebody, we've lost the majority of the communication. We need our eyes when we're trying to listen. And the third thing we need to listen for is what's not said. And that's always the feelings. That's always the feelings. I'm going to do a little example of this. Now I'm ready for those slides. The first slide, please, when you get a chance. Okay. I'd like everybody just read that sentence to yourself. If somebody's saying that to you, what do you think they're saying to you? Okay, Maureen, you can move that slide. Supposing I'm the person who said that to you, and I said, my husband, he just moved out of the house. That's how it's said. It's hard when you see my nonverbals in a little tiny screen, but there's a lot there that you didn't read in, all right? What were my feelings? What did I not say? What did I only say with my body language and my expressions? Maybe I said, I'm sad, I'm distraught, I'm scared, I'm worried, I'm devastated, right? Now, supposing I say it this way, my husband just moved out of the house. Yes! I said a whole different thing. I said a whole different thing to you. The content of my communication was exactly the same. But my facial expressions, my body posture said something entirely different. What did I not say? What did I not say? I did not say my feelings. I'm relieved, I'm excited, I'm happy, free, I feel free. Let's try another slide like that. Second slide. All right, let's read that one. Okay, let me get back to me. You can turn that off now. Supposing I say, I got a new job. Right? Context. Happy, right? Excited, enthusiastic, looking forward to this, proud. Right? If on the other hand, I say to you, I got a new job. So my feeling. I'm feeling embarrassed. I feel like I failed. I happened to get fired. That's why I needed to get a new job. And I feel pretty lousy about it, right? But I didn't say those things. But I spoke to them. I said them in my expressions, right? One more, please. One more slide, please, Maureen. This was another one. This is a big one. And we've heard this before from people in the villages. Okay. You can take that off now, thank you. Supposing I say what you might expect me to say, okay? My son was arrested. He was just arrested. What didn't I say that I communicated to you? Right? That was how I said it. You listened to my expressions. You looked. You needed your eyes to see. You listened to my voice tone, the tempo of my voice, what my facial expressions were. But what I didn't say to you, that you probably gathered anyway, is I'm scared, I'm worried, I'm upset, I'm beside myself, I feel so helpless, I don't know what to do. On the other hand, if I say, my son was arrested, whole different story, whole different story. Maybe what I'm communicating is, I'm thankful, I'm hopeful, I'm grateful because he's an alcoholic or a drug addict, and maybe now he's going to get help if the cops have him. Those are the things I didn't say. But you need to listen to my expressions, my voice tone when I'm saying that. One more, last one. This is a feeling, all right? The content is a feeling, all right? Now, does that mean it's okay to leave it the way it is? Not really. Because you need to listen. That could be 100 different things. Okay, we could take that off now, Maureen. Thank you. Maybe it's something. Oh, I was really upset. Duh. You could say it that way. Maybe I just scrubbed the floor and then I dropped a glass of soda on the floor and I had to do it again. I was upset, mad at myself. Okay. Maybe I say, yeah, I was upset. My air conditioner broke and the man tells me I have to buy a new one. I don't know if I can afford it. I'm scared. I'm worried. Um, Maybe the last time I could say, oh, I'm, I was upset. I was, I was upset. My daughter just told me she's diagnosed with breast cancer. Upset. That feeling word could fit any of those things and 100 other things. But unless we're using our eyes as well as our ears, we don't hear the differences there. So when we're listening to somebody, three things we always have to listen for. How it's said with only our ears. I'm sorry, what is said, content. How it's said. We need our eyes. We need our feelings. We need to notice everything. What's not said, just as important. Usually, our own feelings tell us what's not said in somebody else's sharings. So how do we do this? How do we learn or improve the skill of listening? First thing we have to do is tune in. We tune in to person. Tune in. What I mean by tuning in. Whether you know it or not, we all have magical volume control in our mind, right? So when we're talking to ourselves, right, we could say to ourselves very loudly, stop, don't do that, okay? Or we could say very quietly, I don't think I should do that. Self-talk, right? And we do have that volume control, right? So the first thing we have to do when we want to listen to another person, we've got to put down our own volume control, lower it. So all my self-talk, I'm not getting rid of it, but I'm making it quiet because I want to hear somebody else. So I need to keep that quiet. The next thing I have to do is I need to communicate interest. I need to communicate interest. So if somebody is talking to me and they happen to say they're worried about something, if I'm looking like this and you're worried about something, am I expressing interest to them? You're worried about something? Are you crazy? That's what my facial expression says. Are you crazy? Which means that person knows I haven't heard anything they say because I'm judging them. Right? If I look at the other way around, if I say, what were you angry at? Right? I'm communicating what? My own anger. You're stupid for feeling that way. You shouldn't feel that way. That's what my expression is communicating. Maybe if I say, when was your last embarrassing moment? Who's going to tell me with those expressions? So we need to know what we need to communicate that we're interested in that other person. Right? How do we do that? We got feelings going on when people are talking to us and when they're sharing important things to us. There's feelings going on inside of us, right? But we need to ask ourselves, how do I feel? What do I want to communicate? Do I want to communicate boredom? Do I want to communicate anger? Do I want to communicate helpless? Do I want to? Hell no. I want to communicate. I'm interested in you. I care about you. So we have power to change our bodies to say things that we don't use our mouth for. Right? Our bodies can be very powerful tools. Right? So how do we change our bodies? One, I'm not going to sit like this. Two, I'm not going to sit like this. That doesn't communicate. I'm going to find a nice way to say, I'm here, all right? And I'm strong, and you can tell me anything you want, and I care. So maybe if somebody's talking, my facial expression, if they're talking sad, maybe I'm going to look a little sad. If they're talking happy, I'm going to look more happy. But I'm going to communicate with my body that I'm interested and I care. Next thing to do, get rapport. Get rapport. I've never really figured out a good way to describe rapport with another person. The only thing I can come up with is if a person is like this and I join them and I'm like this, we're in rapport. We're in sync together, right? Now, this is an extremely valuable tool when we're listening to somebody. And you know who's excellent and gets special training to do this? Salespersons. Salespersons get good training to get rapport with people. And what's the best and the fastest way to do it? Match and mirror the person you're listening to. Match and mirror. What do I mean by that? When we go into our bathrooms in the morning or during the day or at night, whenever, and we're looking in a mirror, if I go like this, I see Pat over there in that mirror going like that, right? If I'm looking at my wrinkles, I see Pat over there looking at her wrinkles, okay? If I'm standing up on side, oh, hey, I look pretty good today, okay? If I go like this, okay, yeah, I'm okay with my hair. My hair looks fine, okay? Getting rapport with another person to listen to them, right, is basically you becoming their mirror. So when they look at you, they see themselves, right? How do we do that? We match their posture. We match their facial expression. We match their posture, right? We match their voice tone and tempo. If they're talking fast, we talk fast. If they're talking slow and quiet, that's what we do when we're giving responses to them. But this matching in the mirror, what does it do? It tells that person that we're listening to, I'm with you. I'm with you. The other thing it does is it allows them to see themselves, which is a wonderful thing. Next thing we have to do when we're trying to develop the skill of listening, be aware of our own feelings and our tolerance level. I said this before. Very often when people that we care about, whether it be our adult kids or our spouse or our partner or a neighbor that we care about or our grandkids, all right? When they're sharing things with us, we feel helpless. If they're sad, we feel helpless. And we need to be aware when we're feeling helpless, the next thing we're going to come out of our mouth is fix it, take it away. And we always need to know that's rejection. We don't want to reject them. We don't want to reject them. But we need to know when I feel helpless, that's what my communication is doing. Saying, change. You're not acceptable to me. You need to change. Rejection, right? The other thing is, if we're aware that, okay, I can't fix, then you need to become aware. What's the other thing you're going to do? If you're feeling helpless and you can't hold and contain that feeling, you're going to cut that person off, or you're going to change the subject, and you're not even going to know you're doing it. But when you cut that person off from sharing, or you change the subject, you stop listening to them. Right? These are heavy-duty things I'm talking about. These are really heavy-duty things. It takes a long time to learn and to practice. What's the other thing we have to do when we're listening? Ask questions. Not to be nosy, not to find what's the latest stuff that we have to, rumors to give out. No. But questions of caring, questions, what's on your side of the picture? Help me understand. I care. Tell me what's on your side of the picture, right? We can do that in a couple ways too. We can do that by asking questions. Now, there's special kind of questions we can ask when we're listening. There's two kinds of questions. One is an open-ended and one is a closed-ended question. A closed-ended question is a question that can be answered with maybe one word. How many kids do you have? Oh, 3, 4, 2. Right. Closed. 1, 2, 3. We're not going to get much. We don't have much to listen to when we ask that kind of question. It would be much better to ask an open-ended question is, what kind of family? What is your family like? Now we're leaving it up to them. We've opened the whole thing. Another question. When were you divorced? Oh, in 2019. Versus what led up to your divorce, and how did you handle all that? You see how I've opened that up with just my question? It communicated, I care, I want to know, I'm here for you to tell me, and I'm here to listen. Maybe we'll say another closed-ended question. Were you alone during COVID? Answer, yeah, I was talking to the walls. Nobody else talked to. End. Versus an open-ended question. Okay. How were you during COVID? How did you handle that? Again, open, inviting the person with your questions. Right? So you want to be curious. You want to communicate. I care. I'm interested. I want to know what's on your side of the picture. Now, the other thing is questions decrease our assumptions, because when people tell us one or two sentences, again, if we think we know, we've stopped listening. Right? So we got to know we do not know. We do not know what's on the other side of that picture. So we need to ask, all right, well, how do you feel about that? What's it like for you when that happens? How do you feel about living in the villages? How do you feel? What is it like to be a caregiver? It sounds like it's hard. What is it like for you? How do you feel about that? When that happens, how do you handle that? Again, open-ended questions. But the more questions you ask, the more interest people know that you have. Reflection and feedback. The last thing when you're listening. Restate what you're hearing. Restate in their own words what you're hearing. I hear you're telling me you're having a hard time with this. I hear that this is really difficult for you. And sometimes you just feel like you want to run away. And sometimes it's just overwhelming to you. Let them hear. Let them hear what they're saying, right? Because again, remember before when I'm talking about the no-nos, don't give advice, don't give solutions. People have to come up with their own solution. But one of the ways we can help people come up with their own solutions is being that mirror and letting them hear what they feel and what they think. So that's one of the reasons why we share what we hear from people. Because when they hear what they're thinking, what they're feeling, then they know the answers to theirs. They know how to give themselves advice. You know that. And now, when we're doing this, all right, when we're listening and we're listening hard, right, we've got feelings, because listening always brings us to empathy. Empathy. Listening is very healing, very healing. Now, sympathy. Nobody wants sympathy. Does anybody here anybody feel sorry for them? No, that's demoralizing, all right? So sympathy is feeling for a person. Oh, you poor thing, I'm so sorry for you, all right? Empathy, on the other hand, is feeling with someone. So when somebody is sharing, whether they're feeling very excited and happy, or whether they're feeling absolutely devastated and sad, right? We have to join them. Join them. Listen to their feelings. Listen to their expression. When you joining people's expressions and points of view and your body language, and you're mirroring them, you're getting a lot of clues in terms of how they're feeling. Now, you may never have gone through the experience that they did, but I guarantee you have felt that way on several occasions with other experiences or similarly. So that's the time when you start thinking, gee, when have I felt that way? When have I felt this way? When have I felt so excited? When have I felt so sad and demoralized? When was that? I'm not going to concentrate on the when. I'm going to concentrate on the feeling. Because the next thing I say, how is my feeling the same as this person's? How is my feelings different from this person's? Right? So then I start asking, now I've got something to work with, all right? Now I'm feeling with them, right? So how can I relate? How is this person's the same? How is this person's different? Again, ask them. And that's That is such a wonder. That's a hard part of listening. But that's what all this hard work does. Gets us to that point where we could join somebody, right? We can join somebody. I want to give you an example of something. This may be a person you're listening to. It's a nice plastic glass filled with nice water, right? Now, supposing someday that person, again, your spouse, your neighbor, a good friend, your adult child, comes to you, this is blue dye. You see, can you notice that that's water is turning blue? Anybody see that? Turns blue? Oh, yeah. Maybe this person is saying, I'm so blue, I can't stand it, it hurts so much. Can you help me? Can you help me with this? Oh, I just don't want to feel blue, it's so down. What are you going to do? Come on out, blue. Come on out. That don't work. Get out of there. You don't belong there. That doesn't work. What can you do? You can't do anything. You can't do it. But there is something to do. This is you, not the glass. This is the blue glass. If I take me, blue is the feeling. And if I join that person in that feeling, what happens to the blue in their glass? It all comes out. And I can continue joining them, joining them, joining them. And the more I join them, the less and less blue is in their glass. That's the value. That's the healing power of empathy. It's the healing power of empathy. You can't make, that's the only advice and solution you can give to people that really works. Join them. Because when you join them in however they're feeling, they don't feel alone anymore. They feel received. They feel cared about. They feel hugged and accepted. And that's a beautiful thing, a beautiful gift to give to anybody you know. Anybody.